Amy LaMontagne Spicer, 28 Saltbox Lane, Uncasville. I work at WBLQ. And many of you don't know my real name, so you know this is important. People know me as DJ Gadget. There's 18,521 people in Westerly, Rhode Island, and about the same in Stonington, Connecticut, and all of them have free access to WBLQ. During Fall Fest and Spring Fest, everything in between. During hurricanes and terror attacks and robberies and high-speed chases. If you ever think to yourself, what is going on? All you literally have to do is turn to 1230 AM, 103.1 FM, or WBLQ.net, where we stream worldwide. And Wolfman Zach will howl you into the news. If it is happening in Westerly, it means we are already working on getting you the facts. Ryder is riding because of WBLQ and our listeners. Everyone came together to make a disabled little boy able to be part of his own world. We are running to home base. We are keeping you warm with the Warm Center. We are keeping you clothed and fed and furnished with the Johnny Cake Center, RICAN, Homeless Hospitality, Addiction Services. The programming for kids is storybook time. When does that happen anymore? Happens on WBLQ. There's programming for our veterans. Thank you for your service. It literally means the world to us because it is our world. There's Veterans Hour, there's the Time Machine, there's financial programming, there's religion, there's politics, there's news, weather. We are keeping the score with high school sports. That's right, WBLQ makes our children the stars. But back up, because the thing about WBLQ that I know most about is the Time Machine. I know for a fact we have listeners in Canada, the UK, California, Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York, Texas, Maine, Florida, and somewhere in the Carolinas. We have this town and the next town all over Connecticut and Rhode Island. And I know how to do my job, but I know our listeners more. That's what I care about. John from North Stonington, Mike from Westerly, Bill the Navy guy, Ralph the military man, Odie from Texas, there's Elvis and Sue, Batman in Florida, Sabrina Falla from Canada, who loves our station so much she comes on with us all the time. Nico's from Canada too, I don't think they know each other. And Dave calls from Seattle, and while my mom refuses to call for fear that I'll put her on the air, she still gets her requests in. She's in Orange, Connecticut. I don't have enough time to name everyone because they only gave me 10 minutes. But there was one day that I got a call from a listener that was moving to Westerly. She listened to WBLQ and called to ask if I knew of any services to help her. She's blind. And I imagine she was terrified that she was moving somewhere she can't see and trying to figure things out to live day by day. And I loved that she called because I could give her so many resources to help her be okay, to be content. One of them was Westerly Village, who was featured on our station, and it's an organization of people helping people stay independent in our area. If there's a community event and we have a microphone, we are there every single time. No questions asked. As someone who spent 10 years living with a father who had Alzheimer's, visiting every day in a nursing home, I know how important our Apple Rehab broadcast is to the residents, to the staff, to the families. I know because when I visited my dad, I'd play WBLQ. And while he didn't know who I was standing in front of him, he would hear my voice on the radio and he would steal my phone every time. And he would hold it to his chest or his ear. And sometimes he would talk to me after that. Because radio has been there for us our whole lives. Sometimes it even reminds us of who we are. Man About Town isn't about one thing, it's about everything. It's about you, your business, your families, your books, your plays, your schools, your beaches, your rivers, your events, your restaurants, your health, your library, your police officers, your park, your Zumba, your yoga, your fitness, your movie theaters, your TV shows, your art, your artists, your Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce, your lobster trap trees, your starry lights. It's about everything because it's about us. Resiliency Radio is about keeping Rhode Island healthy and clean and nutrient dense and pollution free, and it is about our fishing crews. People who work hard to bring us food, our farmers, people who work hard to bring us food, our nature preservers, our groundwater, our recycling, our beaches, our rivers, our town. And if I ever have my way, it'll be about the Bradford pear trees and how awful they are. Hasn't happened yet. More than 18.5 thousand people in Westerly and the same over the river. And one thing that lies heavy on my mind is what can you do for more than 40,000 people, not even accounting for the tourism and the seasonal residents with 4 acres of land? What can you do for them there that WBLQ isn't doing for them and more? December 13th, 2021, a meeting of a subcommittee consisting of 2 commission members, 2 planning board members, 2 members of the Municipal Department of Developmental Services, and Assistant Harbor Master Kimberly Rayner Russell. 7 people decided this, not the town. So how do we know that's what Westerly wants? Working on developing recommendations for the property at 25 Margin Street. The current location is a business called Westerly Marina, and the current tenant's lease expires in October on Halloween. And it feels a lot more like a trick right now than a treat. James Torres is quoted in saying, "I think all the property owners need to be notified. They are our biggest stakeholders, and we have to have them on board because we can't dictate what they do with their property." You can, can't you? Westerly Marina went up in 1959. 10 years after the tower was already there. And before most of this council was born, if not all of you. You look great. In addition to 50 boat slips, as 4.35 acres of property, public boat launch for Westerly residents, and an office, restroom, retail area, which all need a lot of repairing. And there's also 2 pump out stations, one on the water side, one on the parking lot side for trailers and vessels, but we don't know how they work or if they work. And the site has 100 parking spaces. We all remember the 40,000 people, right? The area around the marina, in my opinion, is not big enough to create any sort of area that is going to generate enough money to suffice a multi-million-dollar upgrade, which will inevitably come down to a multi-million-dollar project, which means multi-million-dollar tax hikes. I know we're going for grants, but $1.1 million has been secured for cleanup alone. And the authority to keep the tower lies with the city manager and ultimately the city council, many of whom told WBLQ not to worry in the last few months that the lease would be renewed and everything would go on as normal. And they made it seem like Chris DiPaolo was overreacting to even want to talk about it, because all he wanted to do was talk about it, and nobody wanted to talk about it. And looking at articles from 2021, this plan was already being put in motion. So what was there nothing to talk about? I heard someone wants to offer us 1 year. I hear others want to offer us 5. If we can be offered a 5-year lease, is the town leaving the marina to sit in the state it is for 5 years? Or is construction going to move forward with the tower where it is? And if it's going to sit for 5 years, is that really what we want? And if repairs can be made with the tower there, then in my opinion, the tower can also stand there for 20 years, like it has for the last 73. A radio tower does not stop the town from fixing the deteriorating docks or the pump stations, and it certainly doesn't stop them from making more docks. I will refrain from mentioning how much of an environmental crisis this all is, but there's more council meetings to go. You only realize that they don't make things like they used to, and you only miss the good old days when they're gone. When making money is held at higher regard than quality of life, that's when those things are said. It's when toys get worse. It's when community gets worse. Money is made every day, and there's no dollar amount I would ever accept as a trade for the amazing community we have here. The matter of this will come on the city council agenda, but the community has a say too. We can do that by expressing our views loud and clear in emails and public hearings. Thank you.
Thank you.